Alright, welcome on in everyone to another episode of First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today we're going to take a look at Colonial Virginia 595. This council was originally formed in 1992 as the merger of Old Dominion area and Peninsula. We actually have a very close pair of first CSPs. The first two issues look very similar, and so today is a great episode to be able to highlight the differences there. So let's head on over to the patch table for the S1 with its gold border, red, white, and blue US flag background, gold fleur-de-lis, kind of ghosted in the state right here. It is defined by the name being specifically 64 millimeters across, in green letters, black outline around the state and cannon. The patch itself measures 50 millimeters top to bottom and 125 millimeters left to right. That will be kind of the defining characteristic of the first issue. Really the second issue looks the same. The patch sizing is a bit different. Taking a look at the back here, this is a clear plastic back for the S1. Now, in older collecting guides, the second patch produced was just listed as an S2. However, in more recent guides, they actually have divided that into two variants, the S2A and S2B. I would assume that it's essentially another order production run of the regular issue here. Here we have what would be considered an S2A, and you can kind of see. Actually, maybe I'll even flip the places because my head in the screen is on the way. But we get a little bit larger standard CSP. The S2s are going to measure 53 top to bottom by 135 millimeters. So you can see the difference in length when they're next to each other. Also, the council name is listed as 77 millimeters across, so again you can see the difference in length. Also, these tend to be a little bit thinner on the letters. What differentiates an S2A from an S2B is the color that's used for the border, and I would assume the fleur-de-lis and state, because they're all kind of the same color. When it's more gold and matches the S1, that's going to be an S2A. If this looked more yellow instead of gold, that would be an S2B. We don't happen to have an S2B to show you today, but the comparison is really what you want to be able to see to differentiate the S1 from the also gold looking S2A. So again, we get essentially the same graphic between the S1 and the S2A. We can see certain differences here. Obviously the face as stitched for the Native American on the far side of the patch, the nose looks discernibly different. Also, the level of outline stitching for the cannon at the center does look to be considerably different. Obviously, as mentioned in the description in the collecting guides, the length of the council name is far different, and again you're going to see kind of a denser thick stitch for the S1, and these letters look a bit thinner on the S2. Also, I would say these greens are not the same. This is a much brighter green. This is a much darker green on the S1. So those were the first two issues. I do believe the S2B looks very similar to the S2A, except the colors trend more towards the yellow than gold. And then after that, they came out with the SA3, also in a very similar style. Here's the SA3. But very easy to identify, as it does have the 1910 to 1995, as well as the 85th over here on the right hand side. And there you have it. Those are the first three issues for Colonial Virginia. Again, really excited we're at least able to bring you the S1 and the S2A so you can see the comparison between the two, because it would be very easy just by description to confuse those in isolation. So hopefully this gives you a bit of a reference. Here, we'll put that S2A back here at the top. So you have them on screen. There is the side-by-side comparison. Also noteworthy that there's no outline on the state. I failed to mention that earlier. There is no outline on the state, which also makes it easier to differentiate in isolation. Well, there you have it. Again, first issues for Colonial Virginia. We'll be back tomorrow with another brand new episode of First CSP. We hope to see you here for that. Until then, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.